Crashers back, ready for some more on-the-road combat with today's game Spy Hunter, this time for the 2600. Originally it came with this little tray right here. This is called the dual control module. It holds two standard Atari 2600 controllers. You can kind of see it right there. It also came with Velcro strips that you would put on the bottom. You can see the strip right there. I didn't put them on my joysticks. I didn't want to do that, but it works okay without the Velcro. At least it did for me. So how you control it is this is the player one joystick on the bottom, and you can see you set it up. You turn this joystick sideways so the buttons are side by side. So you use this to increase, decrease speed by pressing up and down, left and right to steer. The first button is to fire your machine guns, your main weapons, and also if you have missiles that you can shoot at the helicopters, you use as well. This top button is actually for attacks from behind. So if you have oil slick or the smoke screen, you use the top button. It's a little bit reversed. So the top is for back attacks. The bottom is for top attacks kind of thing on the screen. But like I said, it doesn't work too badly. You could also use an alternate setup. I tried, like I used the Sega Genesis controller for player one, and on my lap I had the CX78 controller, which I would reach down and touch the button if I wanted to use one of the back attacks. Anyways, let's go ahead and take Spy Hunter. Let's pop it in my Atari 7800 Pro system and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Spy Hunter was published by Sega and according to randomterrain.com, it was most likely released in November of 1984, meaning it came out in the midst of the great video game crash, which may explain why this game is somewhat hard to find. It is based on the 1983 Bally Midway arcade game. The back of the box says the following: Spy Hunter, considered armed and extremely dangerous. The official home version of Bally Midway's #1 arcade thriller includes exclusive dual control module. You control the turbocharged race car Hydro Spy Boat. You control deadly arsenal, missiles, machine guns, oil slicks, and smoke screens. Multiple nerve-shattering spy action screens, sophisticated spy challenging graphics. This is hardly a game, it's a high-speed test of your secret agent skills. Meet the challenge and survive Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter is an action game for one player only, with only two modes of difficulty selected by using the player one difficulty switch, with the A position being more difficult than the B position. You start the game on the road, avoiding puddles and other vehicles. You have unlimited use machine guns, which can destroy most enemies, but their range is a bit on the short side. You can earn other limited use weapons like the smoke screen, oil slicks, and missiles by entering the weapons truck from behind. You can tell which one you get by an icon on the bottom of the screen that disappears when you run out of that weapon or you lose a life. Oil slicks and smoke screens can take out enemies on the road behind you. Missiles only attack helicopters when they are on screen and automatically fire and home in on them when you press the button on joystick number 1. From time to time, the road will fork into two sections, but unlike other versions of this game, it doesn't really matter which side you take, as you always continue on the same road. Sometimes the color changes to indicate new scenery, but it's just cosmetic, and you're basically on the same road for the entire game. The only real change happens when you go on the water. But this too seems to happen on a single course, as you have no control when you go from car to boat or boat to car. Throughout the game you will meet various enemies. On the road they will be blue. The Road Lord is bulletproof, but you can bump him off the road or use your oil slicks or smoke screens on him. Switchblade is supposed to have spinning blades that come from his tires. The Enforcer is a long car that fires from the sides. The Mad Bomber is a helicopter that drops bombs. It creates craters that can be deadly to touch. You can only defeat them with the missiles. On the water, everyone is your enemy, dropping explosive barrels and firing torpedoes at you. Honestly, I didn't really notice torpedoes while playing, but I did find that the projectiles are hard to see when you're on the water. On the water, you can't use oil slicks or smoke screens, but you can use your missiles if you have some, as the helicopter can still approach while you're on the water. You start the game with unlimited cars for 99 seconds. Afterwards, you will only have your starting car plus any extras you earn. You earn an extra car at 7,000 points, 10,000 points, and every 20,000 points after. You earn points for the distance traveled and by destroying enemies. Unlike other versions of Spy Hunter, destroying innocent vehicles doesn't seem to temporarily freeze your score, but you don't get any points for destroying innocents. You lose a life when you're hit by an enemy or you crash into something, including by going off-road too much. The manual also says you could pause the game by stopping your vehicle when you have two trees on the screen at the same time. I never tried it, as the game can move at a decent clip for the most part, and the last thing I wanted to do was pay attention to the trees while playing this game, but it is an interesting feature. Graphically speaking, this game is a good looking game except for the fact that it was simply too dark, especially on my Atari 7800. And sometimes, as I said, it was hard to see the barrels that the enemy launched at me in the water. The sounds, again by 2600 standard, are solid, especially the Peter Gunn theme when it plays. Family friendly wise, the game would most likely get an E for everyone rating if released today. Currently at Pricetrain.com, the game has a value of $58 loose, $293 complete, and $440 new. Now, the complete price might be hard to pin down, since that may or may not include the plastic dual control module. The last example I saw of a complete copy with the module being sold went for $350 plus $10 for shipping. I also noticed that there was an eBay seller with 100% positive feedback named 8-Bit Widgets selling his own custom-made version of the module for $20 plus $5 for shipping. So that might be a good option if you're looking for something like that. So what do you think of Spy Hunter for the Atari 2600? For a 2600 port, color me impressed. Overall, it controlled well, had some nice looking vehicles, sounded good, and the difficulty, it seemed just right for me. Yeah, if there was a true 2-button controller for the system, it would have been very nice. But even when I didn't use the module, but just had another controller nearby to hit the second button, it wasn't too bad. I even prefer this port over the NES version, which I recently reviewed. Sure, the NES version looks and sounds better, but I found its difficulty too frustrating. Speed changes too extreme, and getting into the weapons truck was actually tougher to pull off when compared to the 2600 version. So in the end, I actually had more fun playing the 2600 port than the NES port. While its cost is pretty high, making a physical cart pretty much a collector's only kind of thing, overall I think Spy Hunter is a solid arcade port for the 2600. So where am I going to rank Spy Hunter among the other games I've reviewed for the Atari 2600? It's going in the 50s among some other fun Atari 2600 games. I do like the simplicity of Stampede more at 53, but I will give this an edge over River Raid 2 at 54. So of the 267 games I've now reviewed and ranked for the Atari 2600, Spy Hunter is driving into the 54 position. Spy Hunter on the 2600, while not perfect, is an impressive port for the system, but that's just what I think. What do you think? Do you like this game? Do you have any memories of it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy videos such as this one and you want to support my work, please click like, subscribe, drop a comment below, and for Mega supporters, either become a channel member or sign up at patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and look forward to see you next time in the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, everybody.